Today we are going to look at the equation of a straight line, and in this case we have one example. You can read together with me. A line AB where the coordinates of A are 4,5 and B 8,7 passes through a point T. Then the first question, determine the gradient of the line AB. Second, determine the equation of the line AB in the form y is equals to mx plus c. The third one, determine the x and the y intercepts of the line AB. And the last one, another line xy is perpendicular to AB at a point M, and the coordinates of M are 4,5. Determine the equation of the line xy. Now we are going to look at the first one. Determine the gradient of the line AB. Solution, or A, rather A. The solution of A. Determine the gradient of the line AB. Originally we had the coordinates of A to be 4,5 and the coordinates of B to be 8,7. So how do we get the gradient? Gradient is equals to change in y all over change in x. This is the same as y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Remember, this in the first coordinate all represent 1, 1, and this is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. So we will substitute. This is y2 is 7 minus y1 is 5 all over x2 is 8 all over x1. X1 is 4. So we can work this together. So that you have 7 minus 5. This is 4. And then 7 minus 5 is 2, not 4. Sorry. This is 2. And then 8 minus 4 is 4. What do we have? We have half, or 0.5 as the gradient. So you have the first one. Then now let us go to the second question. Determine the equation of the line AB in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. Determine the equation of AB in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. Determine the equation of line AB. So this is A, this is B. In this case, this is B. And remember, the coordinates of A was 4,5. The coordinates of B was 8,7. Now, for us to determine the equation, or for us to come up with an equation, we must include the third point, and that third point will be chosen with one of the following. So let us include point C, which is x, y, and with point C, and choose any of this point. Let us choose with point A. So we have A is 4,5 and C is x, y. This is C. Now, same as the formula that we have just used above. Gradient is equals to change in y all over change in x, which is the same as y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. This one can as well be written as y2 is y minus y1 is 5 all over x2 is x minus y2 minus x1 is 4. But remember, our gradient was half. Our gradient was 1 all over 2. In this case, what do? We want to write the equation in the form of y is equals to mx plus c, as we have been instructed. Now, let us cross multiply in each case so that we simplify the whole thing. 2y minus 10 is equals to x minus 4. X minus 4. So 2y is equals to x minus 4 plus 10. 2y is equals to x minus x plus 6. What do? We can as well. Let us make this. We have 2y is equals to x plus 6, but we want the form of y is equals to mx plus c. In other words, we are going to do away with this 2. So we have y is equals to 1 all over 2x plus 3. This is our equation. Good. Okay, then there's the third equation. The third question C. The third question tells us determine the x and the y intercept of the line AB. Remember, the equation of the line AB is y is equals to half x plus 3. Now, how do we determine the x intercept and the y intercept? For x intercept, y is equals to 0. Now we can substitute 0 is equals to half, 0 is equals to half x plus 3. What do you do? Half x is equals to negative 3 times 2 all over 1 times 2 all over 1. X is equals to negative 6. We have x to be negative 6. How do we get y? For y-intercept, x is equals to 0. Now, we substitute x with 0 here. Y is equals to half into 0 plus 3. So y is equals to 3. The x and the y-intercept of that line. So we have x and the y and the x-intercept. We have it. Then let us proceed to the last question. The last question now, in this case, the last question D. Question D. Now, what was the last question reading? Let us check again. Another line xy is perpendicular to AB at a point M, and the coordinates of M are 4, 5. Determine the equation of the line xy. Now, another line is perpendicular to AB, and what was the gradient of AB? Gradient is equals to AB. The gradient of AB was a half. But remember, for perpendicular M1 times M2 is equals to negative 1. Now, this one will be our M1. Now we will be looking at for the M2. M1 is a half times M2 is equals to negative 1. How do we make M2 the subject of the formula? Multiply both sides by 2 over 1, the reciprocal by 2 all over 1. So M2 is equals to negative 2 over 1, the same as negative 2 over 1. Now, we are told to determine the equation of that line. The equation of that line, and we are given the point. The first point is M, which is 4, 5. And another point we must, let us talk about point N. Point N, which is x, y. And the gradient we have. So we will talk about negative 2 over 1. Of course, we know that gradient is equal to change in y over change in x. Change in y minus 5 all over x minus 4. Now we will cross multiply. So we have y minus 5 is equals to negative 2x plus 8. Negative 2x plus 8. So we can solve this one so that we can make it in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. Now, y is equals to, collect the like terms, negative 2x plus 8 plus 5. Y is equals to negative 2x plus 13. And this is our equation of the line xy, which is perpendicular to AB. Now, this is our entire solution of that question. From question 1, we are getting the gradient. Equation 2 now, we are getting the equation in the form of y is equals to mx plus c, and here we have it. Here we have the answer of that question. And then question 3, we were to determine the x and the y-intercept. The x-intercept we are given to be negative 6, and the y-intercept is 3. And the last question was determine the equation of the line xy, which is perpendicular to AB at a point M, and M was 4,5. So that is this is our question for today. You can revisit so that and we know areas that we can touch on that you are still being confused on, so that we make it a bit easier to every one of us. Subscribe to our channel, don't forget to comment, drop a like, share with your friends, and let us give back to the society. Thank you so much. Have a good day.